Okay, so now I'm in. Okay, guys, I figured it out. Look, technology. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm in. So now, you guys, be sure to like, comment, and share this video. Technology. I'm just saying. I think I got some feedback here. I'm just. Okay, there it is. So I'm just going to share this over on Facebook, and you guys can come on in and join the discussion. So be sure to do that. Let's see. Let's see. Just gonna. Just get these little housekeeping things done here. See if Milton has come to the broadcast. So I don't see you. Okay, so do you hear me now? Let's see here. Let's see, how about now? Do you hear me? We did this test earlier, so I'm not really sure what's going on. Why we're having technical difficulties, because we are in. So do you have sound? In? Yeah, we're in. I hear sound on my end, so maybe there's something going on. And there is sound. Let's see, refresh your screen. Okay, good. Okay, very good. Oh, you can hear me loud and clear. Good. Awesome. Okay, good. Hey, Shernette Brown. So glad to see you here tonight. So glad you are here. Let's see, Milton, are you in the broadcast? I don't see you in the live stream. So be sure that you click on the link for live stream, and so you can come on in. I emailed you the link. And actually, the link is the first comment above where it says, welcome to the broadcast. You can join and share your voice. And that's the StreamYard link. So if you click that link, anyone who wants to join can join. So be sure to go ahead and like the broadcast as well. Okay, so that you guys can come on in and share. I'm just doing a little housekeeping. I'm just sharing this on Facebook so that we can bring some more people over. But we're going to be talking about schools. I don't know if you guys have school-age children. I don't have school-age children anymore, actually, but I do have 2 children. My husband and I have 2 children who are college age. So this is going to, affect them as well. So what decisions they are making will actually affect them. So I'm very interested, and I know as parents, you guys are very interested, like I am, on what, what's going to happen with schools. Are we going to be forced to send our kids back to school, even if we don't want to? What exactly is going to happen? So, yeah, I think this is a very interesting discussion. And so, this is so much is happening around COVID, and so much is happening that so Milton is joining us. This is my husband, everyone. I don't know, I've talked about him a lot, so he's on with me now, but I talk about him a lot in my videos. So Milton is on with me, and he will be sharing as well. So be sure to like and share the broadcast. Thank you so much, Shernette Brown, for joining us tonight. Thank you so much for telling us that you can hear us loud and clear. That really helps. And I appreciate that. Thank you so much. But yeah, we're going to be talking about this issue because this truly is going to impact so many people. This is going to impact so many people, whether schools start back or not, whether, you know, we're having just a little feedback. So if you have YouTube also open, Milton, just make sure that that screen is muted. There you go. So that we can, but it's just such a big issue. There's so many kids. I'm turning this on, just getting some things started while we're here. Yeah, thank you, Sharnette. I appreciate it so much. Be sure to share this with somebody. We shared it on Facebook. Milton, I hope you shared it with Facebook as well. Be on Facebook as well. Be sure to share it so that we can bring as many people in to get started on this conversation as we can to get so we can weigh in and get this topic rolling, because this is important. Our babies. I mean, if you don't want to protect anybody else, you want to protect the babies, right? I just I just don't, I don't, that's the part I don't understand, because usually our babies are the people that we want to protect the most. And I would think, would be sort of the last people that you would be sending back to school. And so I'm just really, really just very sort of interested in what's going on, but I'm almost shocked at the response from the Trump administration. And this is just me now, because everybody has a different opinion, but I'm just almost shocked when the Trump administration came and said that they were sending people back to school, because we do not even have, they don't really even have a plan for what they're going to do when schools open. They are, not agreeing necessarily with the CDC and their guidelines. There's just so much in the air, and they don't have a full plan for what schools will be doing. So to just kind of give us an idea of what is happening as far as COVID, because the reason that people aren't really wanting to go to school is because of COVID. They aren't ready for their children to quite go back. So Milton, would you weigh in and kind of give us an idea of the issues that are facing us as far as COVID and the numbers that are going on? I know you've got some great statistical data to share with us.
All right. Can everybody hear me pretty good?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. Well, hey, let me just introduce myself real quick. My name is Milton Craft. I am the husband of your beautiful host, Synolve Craft. And we're talking about tonight about the issue of whether or not kids should be going back to school this fall. We know that that's a hot topic right now for everyone, especially people who have kids. Our kids are grown and out of college, so it's not directly affecting us, but we do understand how it's affecting the families of people and friends that we know. So I just want to share with you real quick some of the data about the virus data, so you can kind of see how this is going to impact the schools. So as of today, I'm going to be reading from my notes. So if I look down, you kind of have to just forgive me for just a minute. Worldwide, there are over 13 million confirmed cases of COVID-19. And there are over 587,000 deaths so far. Now, if you break that down by different places, if we look at the United States, we're looking at a total of over 3 million cases of the virus, with over 138,000 deaths. Second to the U.S. is Brazil, with right at 2 million cases and right at 75,000 deaths. So those numbers are staggering, but yet we want to open schools back up, but we don't have any control right now over the virus. So that's just kind of misleading to want to do that. So, and we just learned today, or in the last couple of days, that the Trump administration no longer wants the CDC to share the virus data with the population. So now going forward, you're going to start getting some bad numbers that are not true. So then schools have to make a decision. Should we go back to school based on the data or should we not? But they're going to be getting false data. So that's going to be misleading. And we just saw another thing today is Texas and Arizona have so many deaths from the virus that they're using refrigerated trucks to store people's bodies as mobile morgues. I mean, that's just really sad that this virus is so out of control and people are not really taking it very serious to say that something needs to be done. And whether it's staying at home, wearing masks, or just shutting the country down for a couple of weeks to get this thing under control. But yet we want to send kids back to school right now when this thing is nowhere near being under control. And then again today, Georgia Governor Kemp, the guy who stole the election from Stacey Abrams, he has now said that he is not going to require anybody in the state of Georgia to wear a mask. He doesn't see the need for it. He doesn't think this thing is that bad, and there's no need for it. But now we also have more than 20 other states who are making it official that you have to wear a mask in order to leave your house. And I think that's very good. That will help with the spread of the virus. Because, I mean, the main thing is we do need to social distance, but we still need to use some common sense. You know, if you're sick, stay at home. If your kids are sick, keep them at home. But you know, we're going to have a lot of families who send sick kids to school basically because they may not have anywhere else to go. And that's just not safe. I mean, America is so advanced with technology and different things. There are ways other than the old traditional ways at this point in time, because we're now having to make changes to educate our kids. We shouldn't be so stuck in the mindset that we need to do things a certain way. No. This is the time to change and adapt, to do what we need to do in this time, at this moment, to make sure our kids stay safe. I mean, today we got to report that stores like Target, CVS, Kroger, and Walmart are now requiring people, in order to enter that store, you have to wear a mask or you will not be allowed in. I think that's great for right now, for what's going on in this day and time. So those are just some of the data facts of what we're looking at with the virus. And clearly from that, we know that this thing is nowhere near being under control. But what I want to start talking about now is the cons of reopening schools. Can I go there, Synolve, or should I wait for just a second?
Yeah, go ahead and talk about the pros. Why don't we, let me just to talk about right before, as a point of introduction before you go there. You know, one of the things that we are seeing is just, and Milton alluded to this, is just a lack of preparation on the part of the U.S. And so the CDC has given guidelines about what they feel should be happening. And Trump has tweeted, if you see me looking up to the side, my notes are over to the side, but you know, Trump has been tweeting and he's called these, the recommendations for the schools to go back. He has called them very tough and expensive. So, you know, here's the president, you've got doctors and scientists who are coming out with their recommendations, and they're not saying that it shouldn't happen. They're alluding to some of the same things that Milton mentioned. The CDC guidelines, and I'm getting this from the CDC website, it encourages hygiene, the use of cloth face mask coverings, staying home when appropriate. So when you're sick or when you're not feeling well, or even if that child has been exposed to someone else in the family, then that child will need to come home. It suggested staggered scheduling so that so many people are not in school at the same time. It also has a recommendation that schools come up with a staffing backup plan. Why is this important? Because if staff members begin to get sick, if the principal gets sick, and then all teachers begin to get sick, then if a baseball or basketball team gets sick, and then those coaches get sick, you've got to have staffing backup plans. If people are getting sick in the cafeteria, those cafeteria workers or other staff members, you have to have a backup plan. And so they're just asking that throughout this summertime that you have a plan. And I want that as a parent. There should be modified seating layouts that will allow for social distancing. I don't see what's wrong with that. I don't see the cost. I don't see the problems with having this. There should be physical barriers and the closing of communal spaces. And we all know, if you've ever been to school, to take your kids lunch, or because they forgot something, if you went to a parent teacher conference, if you've ever, parents, whenever you've gone to school during the day, that students kind of get clustered and backed up in the hallways. There are different communal spaces where, when one group is going into the library, it might back up another group that's coming out of the cafeteria. So there are these hallway spaces, and you just need to redirect. That may mean go outside and walk outside, which is what's wrong with them walking outside for a moment. It may just mean you changing things around. So Trump, along with Betsy DeVos, is advocating for these schools to be reopened, despite, as Milton has already suggested, despite the risk and the deaths and the number of sicknesses that has happened. And he has said Tuesday that he is going to, this is President Trump, that he would pressure governors to reopen schools this fall during a discussion with educators, students, parents, and administrators. Not only that, he, on Wednesday morning, he also threatened that he may cut off funding to schools that do not reopen. So and the bulk of the funding education comes from local governments, and we pay this. Now he's tweeting this. He's tweeting all of this. And so I just think that each city should be, and each state should be making their own decisions about what's based, and even each school district. And each school has to make decisions based on what is best for them. And it's very odd when Betsy DeVos, I keep wanting to call her Nancy, when Betsy DeVos, maybe I should call her Karen. When Betsy DeVos came out and she was making this clear during this interview she had with on CNN, she had this interview, and she has been a proponent of local schools running their own, local communities running their own schools. But now she's pushing for the federal government. She's caving to Trump, and she's pushing for that the federal government will make all the choices. This is what she says. She says, DeVos sowed, in this interview with Dana Bash, DeVos sowed more confusion among concerned parents on Sunday on CNN's State of the Union, as she stuck to her mantra that children need to go back to school, period. She said this over and over again in answers to nearly every question from CNN's Dana Bash. This is unprecedented. This is unprecedented. And she made, in another statement, she said that we should not allow science to keep us from returning to school. Who are we going to listen to if we don't listen to the scientists? We definitely should not be listening to government officials at this time. Do you not think that the scientists have more to do, and it's more important to hear from the scientists when it comes to the data? We just heard Milton talk about the data. Don't you think that hearing the science is more important than what politicians are saying? What do you think? You guys weigh in. Tell us in the comments, what do you think? Do you think at this point that be sure to get those likes up, you guys. Be sure to, give us a thumbs up and like. Be sure to share this below. Tell me, what do you think? Do you think that it's more important that we listen to the politicians, or should we be listening to our medical officials and scientists? All right, Mel. So, what do you think about that?
Well, I'm going to tell you like this. Like when we were growing up, people used to say, stay in your lane. You know what you can do and what you can't do. So politicians are not scientists or doctors. So it's just really interesting to listen to them be so devoted to the president that they ignore what's right before them. And that just shows that they have a lack of care for humanity as far as I'm concerned. Betsy DeVos should never be saying kids just need to go back to school. I mean, what does that mean? That means I don't care what happened to you. Go back to school. Trump says go back to school, so go back to school. We shouldn't have a Secretary of Education who speaks like that. I mean, kids are our priorities. They're our present, they're our future, and our job is to take care of them and keep them safe. As you were talking about a while ago, there will be if some schools do decide to go back, there will be some changes that need to happen. And you listed a few, and a couple of those things are, like you said, you're going to have to restructure how kids flow through the school. There can be no more crowding in spaces. You have to space them out. You have to just rearrange everything pretty much. When I grew up, we used to have lockers. Kids would stand in the hall and talk at the lockers. That's gone. That day is gone. Kids will no longer be able to do that because of social distancing. So that's gone. Classrooms are not going to be set up where kids can talk to each other pretty much. Either you're going to be in a corner or behind a glass screen or something where you can wave, but you can't really talk or really whisper to anybody. And basically what's going to happen is once you get into school and sit down, that's where you're going to be pretty much the whole day. You're not going to be able to get up and move around. You'll probably have to be escorted to the restrooms. So, I mean, that's a lot going on for a kid to adapt to. And then plus now, lunchrooms used to be the place to go just to debrief for kids during the day. That's not going to happen anymore. You're going to probably eat your lunch right there in the classroom. So like I said, once you get in and sit down, that's where you're going to be for the rest of the day. And just think about it. Can kids do that? Are they capable of doing that? Being confined to one space all day? No, they're not, because they can't sit at home all day and be still, because somebody wants to go outside or somebody wants to do something. But overall, like if you look at the cons of sending kids back to school, the biggest thing that stands out for me is safety. And that should be a priority. This COVID is not under control. They have no idea on when it's going to be near being under control because nobody's really pushing the issue to get this done. So like kids will be sent to school who may have a cold and they think it's a cold, but it may be symptoms of COVID. But how do you know? So they go to school and they sit in the room with all of the other kids. And before you know it, you've got an outbreak right there in the school. And then the whole school's contaminated. And for any little kids in elementary school, one of the things they love to do is what? They like to talk. They like to whisper. They like to do patty cake. They like to play box, play fight. That day is gone. So as a teacher, how are you going to stop kids from being kids? I mean, that's part of the day. That's why they want to come to school and see their friends so they can interact and be social. But you can no longer do that under these new COVID guidelines. You have to come to school and sit down and don't move. So you're asking the teachers to do a lot of different things that's over and above what they're used to. They're already overworked and overstressed, but now you're adding this thing of you've got to monitor your classroom 8 hours nonstop because little Johnny may come in with a yellow mask and Susie may have a blue one. And Johnny says, "Oh, Susie, I like your mask. Can we switch?" "Oh, yeah." "You think they're not going to switch?" "Yeah, Johnny's going to switch with Susie. And then Susie may switch with Jenny. So what? Everybody's switching masks. So then what? Oh, there's no problem. That's just kids being kids. That's the thing you have to remember. Safety. Kids are going to be kids. So how do you control them from not doing that? Oh, I'm tired of wearing my mask. I'm going to put it on the back of my head. See how it fits on the back of my head. That's a lot to ask for. So safety is a big concern. And then you look at the older kids. You know, mama says you got to wear a mask all day in high school. So you leave home with the mask on, you get to school, and 15% of the other kids are not wearing the mask. So what are you going to do? You're going to probably feel the peer pressure. So you're going to take your mask off too. And you're not going to wear it all day. And just imagine 50% of the school, no mask. So what happens if somebody gets sick? Then what? The whole school shut down. But you come back home with your mask on and your mama said, did you wear your mask today? Yeah, mama, I wore it. You're not lying. You wore it out of the house and you wore it back in the house. But you took it off during the whole day. So, you know, one of the things that we need to really be mindful of is safety. I mean, there's a lot of things that need to be considered before kids go back to school in areas of safety. And if we don't start ironing that out now, we're going to wait too late and you're going to send kids back to school unprepared. You're going to have teachers who are unprepared. And then what? I mean, our numbers are already staggering with the amount of cases of COVID in the U.S. already. Just imagine kids across the whole country going back to school and just one in each classroom gets sick. Then what? You've got to shut the whole school down because of the potential of spread of COVID throughout the whole school system. So, I mean, that's just where I am. I think they need to really think this thing out, look at safety as the most top priority before you make a decision. You know, I understand the financial components of it for major industries such as Walmart and Target. You know, they got to sell school supplies and they've got to make their money. I get that. But Walmart makes some money throughout the rest of the year. I think they'll be okay. So, but we need to consider the safety of the kids as our top priority before we make a decision to send them back.
And I tend to agree. Thank you so much. That was very in-depth. And I truly appreciate your research. A lot of research went into the sharing that you have just provided for us. And I really appreciate that, Milton. Now, I've dropped the link in the screen in the chat below. So if you'd like to join us, please click on that link for StreamYard, and you can come on and you can join us and you can share with us your viewpoints. You can let your voice be heard, and we want to hear from you. So be sure that you share your voice, that you are commenting, that you're sharing this with someone, sharing this broadcast, and be sure that you hit this. Hit the link. It's right in the comments. And you hit this link so that you can come on and you can share your and weigh in on this interesting and fascinating topic. It's very important with us. So when I was reading a couple of articles, mentioned Milton alluded to this. He mentioned that money is a big issue. You know, the millions, if not billions of dollars that are given each year as parents buy school supplies. I mean, we really in the U.S. have a couple of big money makers times of the year. And school is one of them. Okay, you know, there's Valentine's Day, all of the roses and the flowers. There's Mother's Day, all of the different flowers and gifts for mom. I mean, there's so much going on. And then, you know, Father's Day, but not as much. You don't do as much as on Father's Day. And then there's 4th of July, Memorial Day, you know, you barbecue, it's about food. You might do a few table decorations, but paper plates and napkins, I mean, it's the big thing. And then August, I mean, school. And it's so much so, it's such a big, huge amount of money that we spend, trillions of dollars each year, that stores are even willing to give, states are even willing to do tax-free weekends because so much revenue is made that they don't even need, you know, they don't even need the requirement of the state of the sales tax to be able to make the money, because people are eating, people are going to restaurants, when you go shopping. And we live in just outside of Memphis. We can go to Mississippi on their tax-free weekend. We can shop in Arkansas on tax-free weekend. We can also shop in Tennessee. So a lot of monies are being made. And we had to go grocery shopping just the other day. And when we went, schools are, Walmart stores are stocking their school supplies. So they're expecting to make this money. And, it's difficult to say, because people will say, oh, well, they lost a lot of money during COVID. Walmart hadn't lost anything. I'm telling you, people were shopping at Walmart during COVID. Yes, they were. Even with the hours being cut back, people never stopped shopping. Even when the toilet paper was gone, people were still having to buy food. And not only that, they were stocking up. We were talking to someone in Lowe's. We needed to get something for the house. We were looking for a deep freezer. That's what it was. And we were trying to stock up. We have one, but we were going to get a second, smaller one. And when we went, there were no deep freezers. And the guy at Lowe's said, we went to like 4 Lowe's throughout the city. And he said that we have already, and this was May, that they had already met their whole annual yearly budget for the store. They had already met the millions of dollars that one store makes, that they had already met, but not only met, but surpassed that annual revenue. So, stores are not losing money. Now, stores are, some stores with the back to school closed, some stores, our Cato here in this city closed. So some stores are feeling the brunt that didn't reopen. But your big chains like Walmart, Target, that have the essentials, those stores are not feeling the brunt at all. And one of the things is, of course, the pros. We're just playing devil's advocate. But one of the pros for people going back to school is, of course, the economics and the economics of it all. That parents have to get back to work. And so parents have to work. Doctors and nurses definitely have to work, especially since they are the ones that are on the front lines at the hospitals and on keeping people safe and taking care of those people who are sick. So people have to get back to work. And America has done a very poor job of providing care for its residents and for the people who live, citizens here in the United States. We've only gotten $2,000 or $1,200 check. One $1,200 check. There's another bill that's coming, but who knows when it'll be passed? They've been debating this bill. Who knows? And so parents are feeling this push to go back to work and to risk their health and to risk their lives in order to go back to work so they can feed their families and feed their babies. And so that means they gotta, all of the different things are expiring. The protections like water protections with your water bill in regards to not having to pay certain bills like your water bill. We had to pay our water bill this week, because we've been paying a little bit on it, on the time during COVID. But a lot of cities, most cities, they were allowing the utility bills to be for you not to be able to pay them during this time. Electricity bills have to be paid. Right now, Shelby County is still haven't had a push for the electricity bills, but the protections in many states, in Nashville, Georgia, other places, for renters where you weren't going to be evicted during COVID, those protections are ending. So as these things are ending, then it makes a pro for people who are proponents of putting kids back in school, because they need to work so they can keep a roof over their head and so they can stay safe. And to me, that's really sad. That's really sad. It's really sad because, for example, in Canada, for the economic relief for the individuals who reside in Canada were provided up to $2,000 a month. Some residents were eligible for as much as $2,000 per month. And we got in the US one $1,200 one-time payment of up to $1,200. And Canada is protecting its poorest individuals. In this newest bill, and there was a huge fight in the last $1,200 that we got, that they were for people who were below the poverty level. They, were saying, the US government saying that they didn't want to even provide any money or protections for people who were below the poverty level. And that makes no sense. It makes no sense. In the Netherlands, the government will pay, and what they're doing right now, they are paying up to 90% of workers' salaries. 90% of workers' salaries. It's crazy. And those people who are, who expect, companies that expect to lose at least 20% of their revenue can apply for funding. Well, what happened in the US? The US had funding for its residents, for companies, but what happened? A lot of the larger companies are the ones who got the money. They got all the money. And then the American people, small businesses, didn't get anything. They either didn't get anything, and they're still trying to even apply. So, only a few got that money. But some of your major companies, large companies, got millions of dollars. And that is not helpful. And then some of these companies that actually received a lot of the money, millions of dollars of the money, some of them have returned it, but then others turned around, they took the money, and then what did they do? They turned around and they folded, fired employees, shut their doors forever. Pier 1, for example, is closing. So many companies are closing. And so we have to really decide, and I'm going to bring Milton back in, but we have to really decide what it is that we need to be doing in this moment, and how we can prepare if children are going to go back to school. What will we do to prepare? As I bring Milton back in, what are we going to do to prepare for this moment? Are you going to make the choice? Are your children going to stay at home, or are your children going to go back to school? Because this is the question. Milton, what say you? What do you think?
Yeah, I just want to continue the line of conversation you got. I want to make a comment on what other countries are doing. Denmark is paying 75 to 90% of their workers' salaries. And you look at the UK will pay 80% of their workers' wages. This is the first time that country has ever given money to workers. But back here at home, we have to make a decision. What's more important? How do I say this? At some point in your life, you have to make that decision. What's important? You have to do what's known as scaling back. Your priorities need to be your family first. And if that means if you live in a 5-bedroom house, you may need to scale back to a 3-bedroom house. That's your choice. I'm not telling you what to do. You do what you want to do because you're grown people and you make your own money. But sometimes in order to sustain and be healthy and to be safe, you do have to scale back. It's just like a family who wants to start saving and they have 3 cars. What do? You get rid of one of them, and that money can be saved. So Americans have to look at things a little differently. It's not the same as it used to be. This is something that my lifetime, I've never experienced anything like this. Who knows what the future holds? But in any pandemic, you have to make changes. You have to make sacrifices. You have to make adjustments. And I think families need to understand that, and you have to be okay with that. Me personally, if my kids were at school age right now, they wouldn't be going back to school because it's unsafe. It's too dangerous. And like I said earlier, there's so many advances in technology that there's no reason, no excuse why kids cannot be educated at home until things have improved. Nobody's saying that kids are going to stay home forever. We're just saying in this immediate moment, we have to do what's best for our kids, and that's to keep them safe. I know parents are saying, yeah, we got to get back to work. Okay, you get back to work, but then you get a call in the middle of the day. Johnny's sick. Take him to the hospital and he's got coronavirus. What do you do then? I promise you, you won't go back to work the next day. So, what are you going to do? Well, Johnny's sick. I got to stay at home. Okay. Now, if we had a government who understood what was being needed at this moment to help people during this time by giving stimulus help or any type of relief to help with their salaries, then we can help this pandemic to kind of slow. But we don't have a government who thinks like that. We have a government who puts money first, companies first, and what they want to do first. I mean, for a governor to come out and say nobody in this state has to wear a mask in the state of Georgia because there's no virus, nothing wrong. What is he really saying? That is really sad. And just, I think the other day, I may have it wrong, but I think the Alabama mayor or governor did the same thing. He said he didn't care. Kids are going back to school. What do you mean you don't care? And looking at him, he looks old enough to have grandkids. So what does that say? I mean, is it more about money? Is it more about saving lives? And right now, it's more about money. I mean, these big corporations want to continue to make money at all costs. And like Synolve said earlier, Walmart is not going to miss this little school money. Target is not going to miss this little school money because they're going to make that money back somewhere else. So, I mean, Walmart has millions of employees. We're not far from Walmart here in Tennessee, home headquarters in Arkansas. And we just need to make a change. We need to do things differently. America needs to step up and understand that there are things that we need to be doing to protect the American people. And right now, we're not doing them. I mean, your president wants to withhold key data and information from being released to the public because he doesn't want the CDC to let people know what's really going on. Like everything he does, he never wants to give you the whole truth. He wants to give you his truth. And his truth is very, 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 very dangerous to anyone who listens to it. I mean, just today he went to Georgia. He stopped in Atlanta. I forgot what he was there for. But Atlanta put down an executive order that you have to wear masks when you come to Atlanta, from the airport to anywhere in the city. But do you think he had a mask on? Do you think he honored what people were saying? Or did you think he continued to do Trump rules? That means I can do whatever I think I want to. Of course not. He did not wear a mask. He got off the plane. He was the only one that did not have a mask on. The people on the ground had masks on, but not him. He did not have a mask on. And the mayor came on and said, basically, he broke the law because that was the rule. But we know that the president is good for breaking the law. And he'll do whatever he can to get his way. And I think he and Betsy DeVos need to go back and look in the mirror at themselves and ask themselves, what are we really doing? You know, are we trying to kill American people, let families know we don't care about them? I think you're doing a good job if that's what you see in the mirror. But going forward, I would suggest for any family, do what's best for your family. And I think a lot of us have been taught that growing up, that family matters and that we should do at all costs, take care of our families, and don't be bullied into doing something that you're not comfortable with. Like I said, technology is there. Like we're on this live stream now. Schools can do it. Talk to your local government. Talk to your local superintendent. Get together as parents. We used to have parent-teacher conferences back in the day. We used to meet with the superintendent back in the day. Get with them. Don't let the government dictate to you what you should do. Get with your school board. Get with your city council, and you do what's best for your cities. And I think you should do that. And I think that'll save a lot of lives because, again, kids are kids. Kids are going to do what kids do. They're going to touch. They're going to talk. They're going to share. That's their nature. Now, if you think you can go to school and stop them from doing that, I want to see it. Because, like I said, Johnny's going to share his mask with Susan, and then Susie's going to share her mask with Jennifer. And Jennifer and Susie gonna be over there playing patty cake and know they're not supposed to be touching. And Johnny and Billy gonna be back there shadow boxing. So what do? You keep them from being kids, or you keep them safe. So I think you should think, but as communities do, come together, figure out what's best for your community and make that happen. Don't let the government tell you what to do, because they don't care. They're just looking at it from a dollar perspective. And we can't be living by that now. We've got to live by health, safety, and doing what's best for families. So, I mean, that's my 2 cents. Maybe somebody else wants to chime in and share how they really feel about this. And don't be ashamed. I mean, I don't agree with anything that the government is doing as far as withholding data from Americans. I think that's the most harmful thing that you could ever do, is lie to people about what's really going on. But, you know, as much as you lie, still, when you turn on the TV, all you have to do is just, if you want to, just turn on CNN. They have a ticker over to the right. They give you an update every minute of how many cases and how many deaths. So regardless of what the CDC tells you, CNN is going to have that information there available for you. So that's just my 2 cents right now.
I think those are some awesome suggestions, because families, you and I, we talked about this earlier today, that when you and I made this decision years ago when our kids were small, we made this decision that I was going to stay at home and I was going to take care of the children. So I was a stay-at-home mom for many years, and I'm very proud of that. I'm proud of my husband, Milton, for getting out there in the workplace and doing the hard, tough things. And I mean, he faced racism, he battled a lot of different things, unfortunately, as an African-American Black male working in corporate America. But he did it because he loved us. He did it because he cared. And I know everyone can't I'm just telling our story. So, and this is no bearing on anyone else. I'm just sharing my story. Your story may be similar. It may be different. You may be a single mom. You may be a single parent. Kudos to you, whatever you do. I can only share my story and tell what we did. But we made those tough decisions. And sometimes it was tough. Sometimes it was hard. It was difficult. But we did what we had to do. When I was little, I stayed with my great-grandma. My grandmother worked. She was a school teacher. And I stayed with my great-grandma while my grandmother, if she had to go to school, and like parent, those in service where teachers had to go to school. Well, I stayed with my great grandma, and there were times when I was sick, and so I had to stay with my great grandma, or stay with another family member or relative so that I could stay home. And so pooling those sort of resources with a family member that you trust to keep your babies at home and keep them safe, that's an option. One parent staying at home and another parent going back to work. Maybe you can take an administrative leave. You can check and see what your company is doing to provide opportunities for your family. Those are just some options. This is a good time for parents who have always wanted to work on their education. One parent stay home and start working on their education and take care of the kids, or maybe you wanted to start a second business. This is the time. If you want to go into business for yourself and be an entrepreneur, and one person still works, this is the time to do this. Because, as we're looking at it, so many companies are closing. So this is the time to do something on the internet, to try to find a global business where you can do something that's digital. This is the time. I am a proponent. We played devil's advocate, and I did the pros, and hubby, because he's new to you guys, so I didn't want to make him the enemy. So I did the pros of sending kids back to school, and my husband did the cons. But we're both proponents of staying and keeping the kids at home. And so let's see. Early in the broadcast, Shernette Brown made a comment. She said, Milton was asking, can you hear him? And she said, And Milton made a comment. He was asking, can y'all hear me? And Shernette Brown was so nice. She said, I can hear y'all loud and clear. I can hear you loud and clear. And so then I had some problems with the sound at the beginning. And so Milton said, oh, I can hear you now. So that's good, because I think I had locked myself out of the broadcast. Girl, honey, I am trying to learn this digital media. And so I'm learning. And thank you so much to Living My Best Life in Ghana, because they're the ones that really showed me how to use this system. So I appreciate that. Let's see. Shernette Brown said, you're welcome, because we were trying to do the checks on the sound. So we appreciate this, sis. Thank you so much, sis. Mwah, love you so much. Sharon Watts said, hey, lady. Hey, Sharon, sweetie. We appreciate you for joining us today. Thank you so much for joining in and giving a comment. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah. And then I came in. I said to Shernette Brown, it's good to see you. Sharon Watts, look, it's good to see you, Queen. Thank you for joining us. Milton said, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Woohoo! He is doing such a good job, and I'm so happy to have him on the broadcast with me. That is my bae, my ride or die, honey. Yes, we don't do it like the Smiths, though. Not up in here, honey. No, we do it like the Crafts. Yeah, we do. This is my bae. This is my ride or die for life. This is my good marriage forever. What? Take the foe off of it. Yes, sir. All right. LM Style said, good evening. Just tuned in. So glad to have you here, Queen. Thank you so much. Look, you can still join us. Just use that link below that's in the comments, and you can join us. Drop that link I've dropped that link, and so you can come on. Y'all so shy. Woo, y'all so shy. Come on in. Come on in this house. Come on in this house and get on this live and share your thoughts with us. Yes, LM Styles, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Milton is asking y'all, make sure you comment below. Does anybody still have kids in school? Look, I'm 50, so Milton is slightly older than me, but I'm 50. So we don't have grandchildren yet. I can't wait, but our kids are not quite the age. They're not ready. Well, they're in their 20s, but they're not quite ready for babies yet. But if you have kids or still in school, please let us know. I know my kids are working on their master's degrees. Both of them my daughter had already started her master's degree, and a lot of her classes went online. My son finished his classes in 3 years, his bachelor's degree. So his school shut down, and fortunately for him, it moved a lot of people off campus. So because he has finished his degree in 3 years, those students who finished their degree in 4, the regular time, they unfortunately didn't get all of the coursework and classes that he did. And so we're just grateful. We are just grateful for that. Tara's local inspiration says, hey, Synolve. Hi, Synolve. I don't have any children in school, but I have 2 grandchildren, and I don't think they should be returning to school yet. Have a good evening. Yes, ma'am. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, ma'am. No school, ma'am. Not right now. Thank you so much for your comment. Thank you so much for sharing, because you know what, Tara, I am with you, honey. Look, be sure to join this conversation. Be sure to just, drop that link is there. You can join this conversation and you can chat with us, and you can come on in and share your voice. This is a new segment we're going to be doing every week. It will be your voice, your world with Synolve and Milton, with Milton and Synolve. So you guys come on in and come on in this house, honey, and share. You can come on, just drop it into Google or into your web browser. Drop that link in, and it'll just bring you right on in, and you can come on in and share. Milton telling y'all, yeah, I'm 50 and Milton's 51. I didn't know if he wanted me to share his age, so well, ain't he good looking though? I didn't want to share his age without his permission, so he said he's 51. All right, so Mary Barnes, come on in. Mary, I missed your live today. You did your live today. Was it today or yesterday? Baby, I miss your sister. I miss your live. I try to catch your lives whenever you go live. And I was researching and working We were trying to do this. So I did not get a chance to bring you in, and I didn't get a chance to listen, but baby, I'm sorry. Mary, I agree. They can't protect them. And then Tara, Milton says, Tara, I agree with you 100%. So we got another person who's added, who is joining us, and it is Success Nation. Success Nation, please introduce yourself and tell us what is on your mind. Weigh in on this subject. So Milton is here and Success Nation is here. Success Nation, join in and tell us what you have and what's on your mind.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you so much. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you. I actually saw you pass on my page the other day. So I follow you back on your page. Yes, yes. Okay, so this is a really good topic because I heard that you said you were 50. Oh my God, you don't look anything over 30, so let alone 50. Okay, I just want to give that to you. You look really good.
That's the secret.
Yes, yes. I do have school age kids. I have a 5-year-old. I have an 8-year-old. So I definitely can weigh in on this one here. I don't agree that children should be going to school right now. Because I mean, like, it's obvious. You know, there was a post I saw on Facebook where there was a fire. I don't know if you came across it or not, but there was a fire, right? And this guy in the post, the guy go, man, I'm glad that we rescued the kids from the fire. And then it wasn't even a minute later. It's like, okay, it's time for them to go back now. And then the other guy go, but the fire is still there. He's like, yeah, but do you know how much it's going to cost to keep these kids out of that? It was just so funny. But this is what it is right now, you know. That was a good analogy because when you look at what's going on right now, people are talking about taking the children back to school. Like, what do you have in place to protect my child?
Right.
You know, what do you have in place? Like, if something happened to my child, you know, everything that the children get, they bring it right at home. My daughter got a 3-year-old little brother, and she has me and her father. And even apart from that, like, why do we want to be exposing the children to some deadly thing out here that we're all wearing masks for? But then you're saying that it's okay to take the children to school. I don't know, but I think I'm going to start homeschooling.
Look, what?
Yes.
Really?
I went to the bookstore. I got my kids some books that I tell them go stay right there and do it because I'm not going to let my daughter go to that school right now.
Mel, what do you think?
I agree with you 100%. You need to do what's best for your kids because, like you said, they're not going to protect them like you can, and they're not going to be their priority. So homeschooling is great. I think it's something that more people need to look into, and it is an option that's on the table right now. Safety homeschooling, you know where they are, you know what they're doing, you can protect them better. I agree with you 100%, and I applaud you for being bold enough to make that step.
Hey, man, we about to get some PhDs. I mean, it's going to be a lot of Black PhDs running around at home.
Yes. I agree.
Yeah, because, you know, we are going to have to do what's first. And I think that this is a blessing in disguise because now we can teach our kids about African traditions. We can teach them about the continent of Africa. We can teach them about African-American literature. We can teach them so much that they were not African music, African-American music, African music throughout the diaspora around the globe. So many things that they were not getting in school: art, culture, music, and not only that, languages. Swahili. This baby, your baby, sweet baby, is 3 years old. This is the time to teach them all languages. Now, are you from Freetown?
No, I'm from Liberia.
You're from Liberia. Okay, I knew it was the one, either Sierra Leone or Liberia. Okay. So I think I've seen you on the African Tigress, or it might have been the African Superstars channel, but it might have been both. But
this is African Tigress. I'm always on there. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And so, since you're welcome, and we appreciate so much, thank you. But I don't go. But I want to ask you,
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask you a question. If you're in America now, right?
Yes, ma'am.
What would be your advice to parents right now who are wondering and thinking maybe they're both working and they're trying to figure out August is coming and they're trying to figure out what to do. COVID is already, especially in the US. Milton and I both talked about the fact that we only got $1,200 from the government, where as opposed to Canada and some of the other countries who really provided a large monthly stipend for their residents to stay at home and keep themselves safe during COVID. And you see how much this has worked because their numbers are so much lower than the United States. What would you tell parents? What advice would you tell parents who are wondering and just worried at night about sending their kids back to school? What advice would you give them? What would you share?
Oh, thank you so much for that question. That's a really, really good question. The first thing I would tell them is, especially if it's like a two parents, person, a couple, I would definitely say we need to downgrade. So let's say if you were living in I don't know, $3,000, go down to a $1,000 where somebody can be able to stay home, because at the end of the day, our children are our future. And as we already know right now, they don't even care about us, let alone our children. So our kids in this time, especially, they're already targeting us, as we all can see. So putting our children in the hands of the one who hit us, it's not going to do us any good. So downgrade. So if you're in a $1,200, try to see if you can go down to I don't know, $800. Go if you're in a 12-bedroom house, see if you can go to a 3-bedroom. And that way, one person income can be able to cover that, while the woman or whoever can stay home and take care of the children and teach the children. And I think we just need to kind of go back in a way, like the way things used to be. The old days where women will be like the home giver. I know we're living in a world where some women don't like to hear about that. If you're the breadwinner, let your husband do it. But we all have to find a way to figure it out.
And it may be the man. It may be the man who wants to stay home. And
right.
Yeah, and there have been times when we've shifted when my husband has stayed home for a while and I've gone out to work. Most of the time, though, he has been the one to be the breadwinner. But we can come up with lots of solutions. And I talked about my grandmother. There was always someone at home, Madia, which is a cousin of ours. She was older. She was my grandmother's age. They were first cousins, and she was always at home. So it was always my great grandmother was at home and Aunt Jack. So it was always somebody at home that could take care of us. And not only that, by that time, Madia, her husband was also at home. So you had men who were retired within our family system who were always at home and who were elders. And so, they could help with gardening because the men were always, fishing or doing things. So they could always also help the women as well. So we do have to go back to an African center. For those of us who are African and African American, we have to go back to, and throughout the diaspora, an more African centered way of thought and culture so that we can protect our children. Milton, do you have a question for Success Nation?
Yeah, I would just ask you a question. Since the start of this pandemic, are you pleased, upset with the way the government is handling this whole thing, as far as the data side, as far as finding a cure, as far as how they're supporting the economy? Are you pleased with what they're doing, and do you have any suggestions on what you would like to see the government do to help the American population?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Oh my God. I feel like a politician already with that question.
Girl, look, I told you gonna get you got a PhD and you are so intelligent. I've heard you. So come on, Queen. I know you're ready.
Oh my goodness. Okay. First, I am not pleased with the way that the government is handling this whole issue. Like this sister Synolve was just saying a while ago, you know, when you take a look at the other countries and what the government have done to keep their people safe, it just makes you think that we have been left out here to die, you know. And
Wow.
so that's not something that's going to please anybody really. You know, if you have sense and you know and you care for your own life or the life of your children, you will not be pleased. And it's sad to be sitting here, you know. You know what? If I even had the means of disappearing right now and going on the continent of Africa, I would do that right now. This is to tell you how much unpleased I am with the United States, because you know this is the supposed to be the greatest of all countries. The whole world look up to America. Okay, so America should be handling matters in such a way that everyone should be in awe, like, wow, yeah, that is the U.S. You know, but that's not it. It's like they came from the top to the bottom. You know, that's just it. You know, they just came from the top to the bottom. And now you take a look at countries like Canada or even Italy, and you see that how they have like gone to pretty much ground zero, and we're here going up to the sky. You know, I mean, I guess you know American like being up there to the moon, so I guess it will make sense. Where the COVID is going up there, so but it's scary and it's very displeasing and it's very I try not to really focus on it a lot. I just try to just have faith and just pray over my family and have faith and just keep moving one day at a time. But it's very displeasing that even the first time whenever we were sitting here, I still remember, like I know we all remember like it was yesterday when this thing was in China. We were hearing about it like, oh, it's in China, and there were things that the government could have put in place. There were, they could have prepared, because things like this travel so fast. Like, they did not do anything. Like, matter of fact, I don't even want to go there with the guy that is in office right now. I just let him do what he do. Because regardless of what I say or don't say, it doesn't matter. So I just try to focus on what matters to me the most, which is my family. And yes, I'm angry. I really am. But then again, maybe I'm not American, so maybe they might they might tell me go back to your country. You see? So
I mean, I'm angry. I mean, here's the thing. You touched on so many points. And one of the biggest points is, and it's what we in Black America have always known, and that is, you can fill in the blanks on what I'm thinking when I say poop. But I'm saying that America is really not the top like they have tried to purport to the world. And much of what they showed was the big houses, the big cars, and a lot of what they've shown to the world, if you really, really think about it, has been the entertainment and the media when it comes to the rappers and the musicians that are in Black America and the songs that we have created, and we have shared the clothes, all the things that we have shared with the world. And then you realize if you work in companies, and my husband can really speak to this, but if you work in American companies and American organizations, you will be able to see a lot of the problems and issues and mediocrity that goes on. And so this is not new to us. If you live here in America, this type of mediocrity exists. When we have a country, a wealthy country like America says that it is, even though there was a article out the other day saying that America is running out of money, they're running out of coins. So our local Aldi, for example, here had a sign on the door that you couldn't pay in cash because we're running out of coins. The Fed has run out of coins. You can Google that article. And so what we know here in America, we don't have health care. So the people who work every day, a lot of these companies, they don't even have health care. They don't have health insurance. Okay. And so there's that. Small businesses, people, they can't afford health insurance. They can't afford health care. So then they can't take off. Americans work, not just Black Americans, white Americans, Hispanic America. We all work and have 2 and 3 jobs to make ends meet. and not on that, then have a business on the side to try to get there, or a hustle to try to get things going. I almost believe everybody who's from African, in the African American community, I could truly believe we all came from Nigeria, because we work like Nigerians. We hustle. I mean, I was telling my husband, I think he was from the Igbo people this morning. I mean, we work, we hustle, we work hard. And so, and so that lie then that you hear that Black Americans are, lazy and all this other stuff, that they portrayed these lies for so long. And now, for in the African American community, we're sitting here like, thank God, finally, the ancestors, the great one, the great spirit is revealing to everybody that, and pulling down this veil to show the truth about what is really happening and what is really been going on, from the racism to the mediocrity in the government and all levels of society, to the way that people have been, companies, the rich have been, for example, getting all of this money for COVID, applying for the business loans. They have been getting millions of dollars, while small businesses haven't been getting anything. Well, you can see it now, and it was being unveiled. But before, people looked at the West and they thought that this was they did everything they could to get here. And here we were trying to get out. We were doing everything we could to get out, and everyone else around the world was trying to get in. No, I want you to weigh in on some of the mediocrity that exists in corporate America and healthcare and some of the other issues that America face, because it's not just happening in the U.S. Not just happening in government, but it's happening at all levels.
Yeah, I worked in corporate America for a number of years, and I'll admit, when I first went into corporate America, this is just my story. I experienced racism and favoritism from day one. Even the hiring process. I was hired for a job, and I was also, I'm not going to say fired, not given that job the next day. So me, with my wife being very vocal and wanting things to be done correctly, we talked to the president of that division and explained to him what happened. And he was quite shocked. And I was the first Black male to be hired over in that corporate department. So the people hiring me did not want me over there. And that's just the bottom line. And so I had to fight to get what I wanted and something to help my family. But what I learned, I'll be honest with you, sometimes you have to choose your battles and your fights. Had I known what I know now, I would have never fought for that. I would have packed my family up and went somewhere where we are honored, welcomed, and valued, and seen as kings and queens, and started our own. Sometimes we in America get so caught up in this American system, what they call the American dream. You got to have this 4 or 5 bedroom house, the white picket fence, the dog, the cat, the pool, the cabin in the woods. For what? What do you need all of that stuff for? So you'll work yourself to death trying to achieve that. And what you end up doing is missing out on a wonderful life that you could have had with your family and your friends, because your focus is all wrong. Your focus is on the American dream, trying to make a dollar, trying to be this name that people will never forget. I'll tell you this, once you go under 6 feet, they're going to forget you anyway in a matter of time. But you have to understand, like we've been talking about the whole evening, what are your priorities? Be honest with you, companies don't care about you. You're just somebody that works for them to get their goals and objectives fulfilled. And you can be replaced at any second. Tennessee, we live in Tennessee. Tennessee is what they call an at-will state. That means they can fire you whenever they want to and they don't have to give you any reason why they do it. They can do it. So companies, corporations, yeah, you get a job. Everybody needs a job to get started. But don't get caught up in this American so-called dream, because Americans dream. If you look at what Trump is doing now, you ask yourself, what is the American dream? Is it to be crooked? Is it to harm people? Is it to stab people in the back to get what you want to make yourself shine? I don't think that's what it is. I think the American dream is about you doing what's best for you and your family, not hurting anybody along the way, and trying to build each other up. And I've been learning over the years, like I said, I'm 51. I've worked in corporate America for over 20 years. It's not what it's all cracked up to be. You have to find places and things that make you happy, that sustain your family, that helps you to become a better, well-rounded person. Because anytime you work for a company and they cannot provide health care, they cannot provide you with vacation, they cannot do anything to help better you, education or anything like that, what are you working for them for? I mean, what's the point of going to that job every day, just giving all you have, and they're not giving you anything back? Who's winning in that battle? It's certainly not you. So you do that for 30, 40 years, and at the end of 30 and 40 years, what do you have? You'll get a Social Security check. You won't get a pension depending on where you work. And government's trying to take Social Security checks now, so you may not even get that. So you have to ask yourself, am I doing the right thing to help me to be better in the future? And if you be honest with yourself, 80% of Black Americans, African Americans are not. We're working in systems that are not going to sustain or support us. So we as the people have to understand that we need to do what we need to do. I mean, that's just the simplest way to say it. Go out, create your own, go somewhere where you're valued. If it's leaving this country, leave it. Get out of here, go somewhere else and make roots somewhere else. You did it here. We can make an excuse. Well, I can't do it because I don't have this and I can't have that. But I bet you when you started that job here in America, you didn't have it then either. So what's the difference? It's an excuse. We'll make an excuse not to do anything because we're afraid of stepping out doing something for ourselves. Now, if they offered us that same job in another country, oh, we jump on the plane and go tomorrow. What's the difference? Do something for yourself. Help advance yourself. Help advance your people. Do something that you can reach back and bring somebody else up with you, because the companies are not going to do it. For example, Jeff Bezos, the richest guy they say in the world. I don't want to meet him, never want to meet him. But how does he treat his Amazon employees? What has the news said? Don't you see people at Amazon working like slaves? I mean, 7 days a week, 20 hours a week here and there, 20 hours a day. What is that? I mean, who wants to work like that for a guy who's a billionaire? You shouldn't have to work like that. I mean, he's got people now who are just walking off the job because of being overstressed, overworked. He does not care about those people. All he cares about is that dollar. And President Trump is the same way. All they care about is that dollar. When you have a president who wants to bring the EU, what is it? The EU, where they have the it's not the EU, where they have the meeting for the 10 countries, the 10 countries that come together. He wants to bring it to Florida, to his Mar-a-Lago estate. For what? Just so he can make some money. What is that all about? It's all about money to him. So we have to do, as Americans, African Americans, people of color, what we need to do. And if that is, like I said earlier, getting on a plane, getting out of here, going to be with your people and starting over, we need to do it, because this country is clearly showing us and has shown us from my days in the 60s, 70s, and 80s that they really do not care about the lives of people of color. And that's a whole nother subject, because we see that in the news every day, how they treat people of color. So we have to band together, people, and we have to come together and unite and work together as a people and stop dividing amongst each other over simple things such as religion. Just faith itself is a whole nother topic anyway. But we'll let things like that, our disagreements in faith or in politics, separate us. Why? We don't all have to agree with everything that we talk about, but we need to agree that we're all here for each other and that we need to support each other. I don't know if I answered your question, but I just wanted to share that, because we have got to unite people. I mean, it's what, 2020? And we still have people of color saying that Trump is the best thing since since sliced bread. And black churches, we love Trump. You know, he's the best president. What the black guy say? He's the best pro-black president that we've ever had. Are you serious, man? Are you really serious? I mean, that's the craziest thing could ever be said. Trump does not care about people of color. It's obvious, and he has said himself he just came on TV the other day, and the woman asked him, "What do you think about Black Lives Matter and people being killed by the police?" Well, white people are getting people killed too. White lives matter. That ain't what she asked you. She asked you what you think about Black Lives Matter, and his response was nothing. So that lets you know exactly how he feels about us and people of color. So people, do what's best for you.
Yeah, preach. Look, I'm telling you, King, you did amazing. Ebo can win you. I don't know if I said it right, but look, I feel that deep in my spirit, honey. I feel that, Transformation Geek. Thank you so much for sharing. Then she said, that is the call of solidarity in the Ebo community. Yes, we have got, and you know, this is why I say, look, when I tell you that Milton, I believe, is Ebo. This is why, because he's from the Ebo tribe, because his call is always one of solidarity and coming together. And you see that throughout the African American community, that we have these traits that pull us. It's not just in the nose and the lips and the skin color. It's in the way we dance, and the way we love, and the way we build our communities, and the way we stand together and stand as one. Come on in, Transformation Geek, and anybody else, Mary Barnes, if you're out there, come on in and join this conversation. Come on live with us. Hit this link and get on with us on StreamYard, and come on and voice and let your voice be heard. One of the things, go ahead, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask all the women on the panel that's listening, Success Nation. And what's the last lady? How did you say her name again?
It was a Transformation Geek.
Transformation Geek. But there's something you said, Kabola. What did you say?
She said her comment was Ebo Quenu.
Yeah, okay. Solidarity. Yeah. So as women, just from a woman's perspective, if you look at everything that Trump has done in these last 3 years, if you're honest with yourself, do you think he really cares about women's rights, women's opinions, women's thoughts, or anything that helps to support the welfare and betterment of women? Just be honest. I just want to hear somebody else. I know how my wife feels. Oh. I just want to hear somebody else. Does he really care about women, or are they just a second thought? What do you think? Is anybody willing to share that?
You know what? This one is just it's going to be a short answer for me. That's a big fat no. I mean, come on now. It's black and white. It's really black and white. There's no. He doesn't. I know. There was a lady who told me, she was like, I bet his wife cannot wait for him to lose the next election so she can pack her bag and run. And and I was like, yeah. I mean, he doesn't care about women, and as for us, you know, we're at the bottom of the pit, so we don't even qualify. If he doesn't even care about his own race, the women of his own race, I mean, I know that he doesn't care about us either. So, and you know, they're making America great. They're making it great for themselves. And one of the things I think I want to go back. I don't know if I'm answering your question right, but I really want to touch base on what you were saying earlier about you talking about Black Lives Matters when they asked that guy. And one of the things I don't get is that some of them scream all life matters, but then if all life matters, I would say if all life matters, then why don't you agree with Black Lives Matters?
Right.
You know, if that's the case, you know, if let's say the table will flip, right, and they were going through what we're going through, and they're protesting in the street saying that white life matter, I will agree. Yes, white life do matter, because why? All life matters. So when you flip it to Black Lives Matters and you say all life matters, do matter, right? But then you know, it just Hold on, I'm getting a call. Hold on.
I mean, if it all mattered, then we wouldn't have to chant Black Lives Matter. Now, Transformation Geek, she gave her opinion. She said, of course he doesn't. Thank you so much for sharing that. Look, Transformation, you see this link down here, baby girl? We want Queen, come on with us and join this live and share your opinion so we can hear, your voice can be heard. This is your voice, your world. Let your voice, we want to hear from the people. Here, let your voice be heard. Yeah.
Hey guys, I gotta run. I gotta go to work. I'm so sorry, but this was really fun. I'll be coming back to your channel, and this is a good topic.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So amazing. One of the other things, you know, that's important as we look at this is just to ask the question, you know, why are they pushing? First of all, let us thank Success Nation. She really gave some very awesome insights. She was so courageous to come on with us live. Look, if you're in one of the 6 people who are in on this broadcast with us, that link is below. Please come on and join the conversation. We would love to hear from you and your words and how you feel on this conversation of any of the things we're talking about, school or any of the things that we have mentioned. We want to hear from you. Transformation Geek says, no, of course he doesn't. She gave her, you know, of course he doesn't. We don't know. No. Of course he doesn't. He does not care about the woman agenda. You know, he's already was accused of grabbing him by the, you know what. We're just waiting to see Giselle, is that her name? What is the man's name, Milton? That and you guys type it in the comment. What is the man's name who was found killed in the Caribbean, but he went to jail and he
Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, Epstein. We're just waiting to see what his confidant and his co-conspirator. We're waiting to see what's going to come out of that case because, you know, when I say he, y'all know who I'm talking about, the president, the chief of who thinks he's the chief of all, as I say. He has been named, and there are pictures of him with underage girls. So we're going to see, and they still voted him in. I don't even see how that's possible. So this is the person, you know, this is the person then who has been accused of being with underage girls. You probably have seen on the internet, you can Google it, of the different positions of his daughter sitting in his lap, of the hugs and kisses that he's giving his daughter. Now, this is the person that you're going to allow to make decisions for you about your children and going back to school. The question is, two questions. Why do you think that he is pushing so hard for schools to go back in? And the second question is, and so type it in the comments. The first question is, why do you think he's pushing so hard, this administration, Betsy DeVos, Pence, and Trump, pushing so hard for children to go back to school? And do you think that we should take their recommendation, the politicians, their recommendation from the Trump administration on whether we should go back to schools, or should we be listening to the scientists like Dr. Redfield and Fauci? What do you think? Weigh in the comments below. And Milton, I want to hear what you think. One, why do you think he's pushing this, so hard to go back to school? And do you think we should be listening to this administration over the scientists and over science?
I mean, I think the main push is money. He will say that the economy is tanking because people are not working. And that's one reason for job loss and things like that. But again, that's on him. If you want to help that, send out a stimulus check until things can get back on track. But he also wants to keep his big business friends with money in their pockets like they did with the last stimulus check. And as you stated, what they do with it, they took the money and closed the companies. So you're not going to boost the economy by doing that, but you're just going to make them rich and keep them wealthy. I think his son-in-law got a couple $1 billion out of the bailout. So, I mean, they never have the American people in mind. They always focus on themselves. And just to keep it short, to answer your second question, no, there's nowhere in the world that I would listen to Donald Trump or anybody in that White House on telling me what to do as far as sending my kids back to school, because they truly do not care. Bessie DeVos is a billionaire. I mean, I'm happy for her, but she needs to understand these are kids. These are their lives. I know they mean nothing to her, but they mean something to somebody else. And if she doesn't see that, then she may need to step down or step out of the way, go somewhere and retire, and let somebody who has the heart and the compassion to understand families and children to step in. Obama had, what was his name? Artie, I forget the Secretary of Education. I think Artie Fleischer. I might be wrong. Maybe calling the name wrong. Right. But he was truly vetted and understood the importance of education, and he made it a priority. Clearly, only thing she's worried about is getting student loan debt, taking people's Social Security checks, taking their what's that we get every year, your IRS check, and putting it towards student debt. But most countries now are erasing student loan debt. I mean, Obama pushed that back in the day, that he wanted to just erase everybody's student loan debt so that people can live and breathe, and then they can help the economy get back going. Her priorities are wrong. She's trying to punish people, and that's not working. And then a part of that is she lets that spill over into her feeling towards kids in schools. I think they're totally wrong. I think they're going to harm kids and families by doing this without listening to the scientists and people who have studied these things. They need to step back. But I'll say this. I take it a step farther. Congress and the Senate, they have some blame in this too. You should not allow a president to be a bully in any situation. You have to speak up. You have to take a stand. You have to put your foot down and say, no, we're not going to tolerate this, because the American people's lives are at stake. And I don't think anybody, this is just me, you guys may feel different, in Congress or in the Senate has done that. I think they bowed down and given in to this guy. You know, if had that been Obama, this would never be happening. They got mad at Obama for wearing a different color suit one day. That was the biggest talk of the century. Oh, he's wearing the wrong color suit. A suit? Are you serious? And we got a guy who won't even address the pandemic, saying, oh, it's just a hoax. It's no big deal. You know, he was more worried about being impeached instead of saving the lives of people. Now, you did that yourself to get yourself in trouble for impeachment, but you should have been focused on this virus, making sure that people's lives were safe. You're going to wait 2 months before you have any call to action. What does that say? That says you don't care. You don't care about the American people, and the people that work with you don't care either. And that's McConnell and all the people in the Senate who are supporting you and the evil things that you do. And I hope you all get voted out. That's just my personal stake. You know, you guys can believe what you want to believe. But to answer your two questions, the first thing is they want to open schools back up for money. They want big retailers like Walmart, Target, and places like that to get this school money that they get every year. And the second thing is, nope, I will not listen to him or his administration or anything about sending my kids back to school.
Thank you so much for that. We really appreciate. I'm so glad you're here with me today, babe. Well, Transformation Geek, you're here. Thank you. Yes. So tell us introduce yourself. If you have a YouTube channel, please tell us about that. And then share with us, Success Nation has a YouTube channel. She was on earlier. Y'all go over and type in Success Nation and go over and follow her, show her some support. Tell her you were on Synolve, you saw her on the live. Now we have Transformation Geek. Share with us introduce yourself, and then share with us the Queen, the two answers to those two questions. Why do you think they're pushing so hard for schools? And then, do you think we should be listening to the scientists, or should we listen to the politicians?
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Uchenna. I'm Nigerian, Igbo of Igbo descent, if that's of any value. My channel is The Transformation Geek. And in fact, those of us, like I was listening to Brother Milton earlier when he said some of us are coming from abroad. We were trying to get into the system and you guys were trying to get out. that was so funny because it's true. We were sold a false bill of goods. Yeah. There are some of us watching this drama. I'm in the United States, I'm in California, but abroad, whenever they call me, they say, Uchenna, is what they're saying on the news. I'm like, they are lying. Oh, they are lying.
Oh, they are lying.
They're lying. It is ridiculous. I was like, but wait, isn't America supposed to be so educated? I'm like, in the Hollywood movies, everybody has a PhD. In real life, it is not true.
They are lying. Oh, they are lying.
So why, as to why they want the children back in school? I mean, it's simple, but Milton already covered it. It's money. They want money. All the business pals of the current president are all pushing for things to go back as they were, which is not possible because you are dealing with an invisible, unknown enemy. Right now, it is Corona. First of all, I don't know if you guys heard, but they have kind of stripped the powers from the CDC, telling hospitals not to report the numbers to the CDC. They have to report to the White House. There is a reason the numbers go to the CDC because it helps. The numbers help the health community. I used to be a nurse to coordinate care. Now, if it's going to the White House, do every little single hospital in your local community, imagine your small little town, we all have to go to the White House. We don't know who is on that computer, who is computing the statistics to determine the numbers with which we then use to plan our care. That is not, it's not feasible. It's not feasible, it's not practical. Okay, but they want to do this because they want to keep peddling the illusion that everything is okay. I don't know how they think that's possible if people are laying up in the hospital dying of blood clots. I don't know if people know this, but the mechanism of how Corona kills is because the lungs are attacked full on, and then the rest of the organs don't get any oxygen. And then the arteries and the veins, of course, start to slow down because there's no oxygen. So the blood gets thicker. And this person has a bunch of clots all over the body. They either get a heart attack, a stroke, horrible things. And that's why they keep trying to manage all the systems, which is very difficult because then the patient is in a coma, heavily sedated, not moving, and you're trying to support the heart, the kidneys, the liver. It's ridiculous. So the idea that they are downplaying it, telling people it's the flu. What kind of flu makes a person bleed to death?
Right.
There is no, maybe there's okay, no, let me see. Ebola did that. We are dealing with something that is not Ebola, but the mechanism is similar. And you're going to tell people, okay, the reason they target the schools, of course, number one is money. Number two is that because they have the least documented cases with children, they feel they can use that as just to raise the confidence of the people and say, well, children haven't gotten it, so if we put them back to school, they'll be fine. But here's the thing, children haven't gotten it because we the parents took them out of the schools and kept them at home.
Yep.
So if we put them back, we are just running an experiment to see whether or not children will catch this thing.
Yep.
And I don't know about anyone else listening, but I don't want my child to be that guinea pig.
No.
Yeah. I'll give you, I don't know if people really pay attention to their medical system in their area. In the area where I live, there is only one small community hospital, and I used to work there. We have 6 ICU beds, and we have zero pediatric. There's no pediatric department. There is no pediatric ICU, meaning that if a child catches corona in this community, you have to drive out to surrounding cities to go get help, and then hope that there is a bed available. So you're just playing with fire. Bessie DeVos is all about the money. She wants the lunch money to start coming in. They want the people to start, going to Target and buying their little school supplies. They want that school rush season money to come in. The stock market has to go up.
Yep.
And it's just like, I feel like we are in 2020, but the brain of the people that are running things is like in the 1920s or 1930s, where it was easy to sacrifice children. That's how they're thinking, oh, let's just sacrifice the kids. It's not a big deal. 0.5% of the kids, that's the mathematicians talking. That's just 50,000 children. That's not a bad.
Wow.
That 50,000, the risk of 50,000 children dying is not bad. I said, okay, note that the people telling you these things, their children all go to private school. They are at home with the nanny.
Right.
They have tutors, and they're telling you to put your own out there.
Wow.
To put your own out there, and knowing fully well that not everyone has health insurance. And those of us that have health insurance, guess what? When we get to the hospital, they're going to be looking at our face. Who is white? I work there. I know what they do. They're going to be looking, okay, this one is more deserving. Oh, you can go home. Come back when the symptoms are severe.
Wow.
My health insurance, that's what they tell us all the time. If you have symptoms of coronavirus, just make a telephone appointment and call us. You could be dying. You need a ventilator. They're telling you to stay at home.
Wow.
I've never. When my beginning years of coming to the United States, I kept wondering, what was my purpose of coming to the United States? I was like, is it to witness this drama? Because to be completely 100% honest with you guys, there is no leadership in America right now.
None.
There is no leadership.
I agree.
There is no leadership, because if you look at the pattern of things from 1983, when Ronald Reagan was elected, that was the first time politicians realized that we can get a showman, a showwoman, someone who the public will like, a puppet, that we can put that person out there and we can control from the back. Now, I'm not saying Reagan was a bad president. It's not neither here nor there, but I believe that the idea, I wasn't here, but that's where the idea started. Let's just get someone that is liked by the public. Let's get someone that knows how to put on a show. Let's get someone that, it doesn't matter what the person does. Because right now, that's what's happening. This man is out there selling Goya beans. Goya beans.
Yeah.
I'm from Africa. I have never seen it. I have never seen any African president sell rice or beans in the president. But this man has Goya beans on the table with his finger thumbs up for people to go out and buy Goya beans.
Yeah.
The last time I checked, isn't that against the Constitution of the United States? You can't have.
It's illegal. It is illegal.
His daughter, this is the second time his daughter is doing that kind of thing where she even though she's but the first time he did it, he diverted attention because he has mastered the art of doing the next crazy thing so that we forget about the previous one.
Yeah.
His daughter went and made a statement, and then Congress jumped on her that that's illegal. And then he said something crazy about the Saudi Arabia guy that was murdered in the consulate, and everyone forgot about that. This is the second time she's doing that.
Khashoggi, yeah.
Now she went and was promoting Goya beans, and they're going to start talking about Ivanka. He jumped on there to do it to cover her. Yep. There's a whole thing about that parent-child relationship that is, it's just
strange.
It's just. In Igbo, we'll call it an abomination. It's an abomination, but that's what I have to add to the conversation. We do not have leadership. The whole world is really shaking right now and quaking at what's happening in America because the currency for businesses, as far as foreign exchange goes, is in the dollar. That's the reason the dollar has value. The dollar is not backed by anything. It's just paper.
Right.
There is no gold. There is no natural resources backing it. The only power it has is that The countries around the world have agreed that when we trade with each other, we will use the dollar as the currency. If this man keeps going around making enemies with Europe, I think they are still holding on because they believe that, you know, politics, leaders change. But if they are not convinced that this is not going to be the norm and they start dropping the dollar, what are we going to do? If they, I mean, that's automatic overnight inflation. That's inflation. Our industries are not working. They said, okay, they want Americans to go back to job. Okay, you have demonized China. Granted, not everybody likes Chinese business practices. We already know that. But if you're going to do something like that, at least have a plan at home. Have a plan at home. You say we can't import anything from China anymore. Okay, support the industries that are here to do it.
They won't do it.
So we are cut off at home, and then we are cut off from the only reason they went to China anyway is because they could get 2 for 1, you know, shoes, clothes. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It is what it is. But if you're going to say, okay, we need to give our own people work, that's not a bad thing. You have every right to do that. But make plans. Don't just say it. Empower the industries to do these things. I mean, one PPE might cost us $50 per gown, which it already does. And they're all imported, by the way. We have the surgical gowns, depending on the size, go up to $50 a pair. That's why surgery is so expensive, because if we go in and out of the room 3 times, that's $150 per change. The surgeon, same thing. And then hundreds of masks that we use. Surgery, healthcare is super expensive in the United States. Not necessarily the best, but super expensive on a whole different level. But yeah, it's money. They want money.
Wow.
They want money. I was suggesting to my husband yesterday that, you know, if they really want to open the schools, there's a way to do it, but they need more personnel. They need to increase the hygiene by 100%. They need to, for instance, let's say, I got this idea because I forget the governor I was watching. He has 5,000 children that come to his school, right? He says the current school, sorry, my dear son, the current school is the size of the Pentagon. And following the CDC's 6 feet rule, he would need 5 Pentagons to be able to be compliant. So, I mean, he's basically saying to them, are you guys going to give us more land? Sorry. You're going to give us more land? No. Okay, honey. So, I was saying, okay, if you guys really want to go back to school, this is what we can do. You have 5,000 children, correct? You need 6 feet. You divide it into how many children you have, and then one group will come Monday, one group will come Tuesday, another group will come Wednesday, next group will come Thursday, and on Friday you shut the whole thing down and disinfect the entire school. But this only works with children that are above the age of 10. You can't ask my toddler that came in now to put a mask on his face for 5 hours. That's not going to work. You want him to wash his hand? I mean, I bet you may have to beg him to wash his hands now. You want him to wash his hands, disinfect. We have to have a whole new hygiene on a different level, because compared to other countries, Americans are not used to being like super, super clean. It's true. I mean, there's a pandemic where people spit, and they walk by, they spit on the side of the road, you know. Okay, my friends, it's time for me to go. But thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Okay. My channel is Transformation Gate. I just discuss, you know, I'm going spiritually, and I just discuss different books and topics of interest and stuff that I'm doing. I don't practice the Christian faith, but, you know, everyone's welcome. But yeah, that's what I'm about.
Yeah. That was some really good information. Really thank you for sharing that with us, because the medical component was really good, because I had no idea all of that was going on. And really appreciate you sharing that. And I'll tell you the thing that really stuck with me, and I didn't look at it from that angle, is when you said that they will be using our kids as guinea pigs. when they go back to school, and that is really sad that they consider doing that. That you would just throw kids out there and just because you think the data is not supporting that they get sick and just use them as guinea pigs. That is really sad. And the medical profession, I mean, picking and choosing who's important and who's not. I mean, what kind of profession is that?
I used to work there. That's what they do. That's what they do. I mean, even pain medicine, like we have to like really be vigilant, or they'll say, "Oh, he's such a crybaby." If the patient is black, he wants more pain meds. Oh, he's a drug seeker.
Wow.
But if it's a white male, oh my God, give him fentanyl, give him this, give him that. Or will be like, I'll start saying like, this is a lot of medication. This person will stop breathing. Do you really want us to give all of this?
Wow. Wow, that's just really heartening to hear. People should be treated the same, and we know that we live in a country where that's not happening. Will it ever happen? Who knows? We see that again, as you stated, with the Black Lives Matter, that people don't value people of color, and that's in all sectors in America, from the workplace to the hospital to the grave. People don't care about people of color. But I do really appreciate you sharing that, though, because I really didn't know all of that medical information, and that was really good to know. And I hope everybody on here got a chance to really just listen to that and take heed to it. And don't be a pawn to sending your kids to be guinea pigs in the fall. I'm glad you said that too, because that's exactly what they're doing. The kids going to be guinea pigs. They're going to send them out, and if they get sick, okay, now we know what to do. But who wants their kids to go out and get sick? What if they don't make it after they get sick? Who wants to say, well, my child sacrificed themselves for the good of America? What? That's my baby. I mean, you need to figure out something better. So again, thank you for that. So now you may have something to add to that.
I just want to thank you so much, because you have just tonight dropped so much knowledge in this place. I'm just so grateful, Sister Queen, that you showed up. Thank God for you, because you, to the ancestors, I know I sent you. You have just really shared so much tonight. I'm so grateful. And you have a channel. Your channel is
Go to the backyard.
Yes, that's my channel.
Thank you so much. Please go over and support her in what she's doing. Please go over and support her and let her know that you came over from this channel. Milton and I will definitely be over there to see you and support you, because we are so grateful for you. Well, we're gonna so many things you said about the medical community, about sacrificing children, because we had, what is it, Milton? The numbers, 200,000 people have been impacted with COVID, and the number of deaths. We talked about that. We've already had sacrifices.
Yeah.
We don't need any more sacrifices. Mm-hmm. You know, and she brought that up. That was such a great point. And then just the pediatric vision at the hospital, because, you know, it's the same way for us here in Tennessee, where we are. We live in a small town outside of Memphis, and I don't think, if I'm not mistaken, I do not think there's a pediatric division at Baptist Hospital, which is the closest to us. Now, there may be one at Methodist, which is Germantown is the next closest town to us, and maybe one. But then the next one that's the closest to us are like Le Bonheur, and they're all the way downtown. Yeah. We were just, things that I hadn't even thought about. And nurses are not prepared. You only have one nurse on staff at these schools. So nurses are not prepared. And then just to think, the schools being overwhelmed if they're having to call in the emergency services, the ER, to come in and to get these, to get babies who are sick. Like, this is crazy. So many things that was one of the things that I just had not even thought about. children, and then children being sacrificed going back to the 20s. I mean, wow. Going back to the 50s and the 60s, you sending in, this is crazy. Even during, even when the schools were desegregated, when I see those little black girls having in the 60s who were sent into the schools with the National Guard, I could not have done it. I would not have been able to allow my child to go in and sit there all day. And then the children talk about, they're adults now, and they talked about how badly they were treated. Well, my grandmother knew that my mom was going to have to go through segregation. You know what she did? She sent her away. She first sent her to Palmer's Girls Schools and Palmer Girls School for Girls. Sorry if I can get it out right, in North Carolina. And then my mom went away to Europe, and she went. She studied in Europe. She studied in France because she didn't want my mom to go through segregation. And I feel like we're kind of going through this similar thing right now, where we're starting to have to make some choices because the veil is starting to come down. It's starting to come down, and the evil mediocrity that exists here in America is being exposed. And so you brought up a great point. Then when he's hiding, Trump's hiding these numbers. Now he's going to be controlling the numbers. First, he was telling people don't get tested. Okay, y'all stop getting tested, and so the numbers will go down. What sense does that make? You just gonna die? It was just a news story. Milton was saying this, a news story the other day, where a man was sitting in line in his car waiting to get tested for COVID, and he died in the car in the COVID line waiting to get tested. Okay, so then now you're going to be sending all of the numbers to the White House. This is going to be file 13, honey. They going to destroy and delete these numbers. Ain't nobody going to be sitting up there. If this man would destroy or end the whole division that was set to handle infectious disease, the whole team, the strategic team that Obama put together, first he lied and said there was no team, and Obama didn't even leave him any information. He didn't leave him any PPE supplies. He didn't leave him anything. Okay, he didn't leave him a book detailed with all this information. Now, all this is a lie. Even McConnell said it was a lie. Okay, McConnell eventually came out and said, yeah, Obama did. Okay, yes, Obama did. He left him all the information he needed. So if this is a man that would defund the very organization that was set to handle this type of pandemic and scenario, do you think he's going to give y'all some information? No, he wouldn't even give the states, when they were begging for PPE equipment, he wouldn't even give them PPE equipment. Talked about the New York governor so bad and the Michigan governor so bad. This is going to be some file 13. This man is going to destroy all of this information. He is not going to tell you any of the numbers, and it is just a plan. Like the Queen said, it's just a plan to simply make himself look good, his administration, so he can win this election and he can make the U.S. look good to the world. But they don't. The U.S. the EU has already banned travel. The UK has already banned travel, and rightly so, because from the U.S. I wouldn't want, as bad as I want to get out of here, but rightly so. And then to blame African Americans for their high numbers, driving up the coronavirus numbers, like that makes no sense. But you don't do anything to make it better. You don't do anything to solve any of the problems. He didn't reinstate the office, okay, that he disbanded to handle the pandemic. He didn't do that, okay? He has not adequately provided enough protection for nurses and doctors in hospitals throughout the whole United States. I mean, even said anybody who spoke out against him, like the Democrats, that Democratic governors, that he was against them, saying that, if they spoke out against him, he wasn't going to even give them any COVID funding. Track record. I mean, everything after everything that this man continues to do is crazy. And then Goya Beans, look, first of all, I got questions. I need to question him and the Pillow Man. Between Goya Beans and the Pillow Man, I need to question you. especially Goya beans, because you have all of these migrant workers and people from Mexico while this man is building this wall against you. And then you want to stand up and support Trump. These are the same people then, but that will come and say that, you know, African Americans, why do you all want to go back to Africa when, you know, this is a whole different conversation. Why you want to go back to Africa when there were chiefs that sold you? Well, how are you how first of all, we need to inspect that and unpack those lies. But then again, but let's look at you. You, President Trump, you don't even protect your own people. You don't even the people who vote for you. You're the very one telling them not to wear masks. You got them telling them it's a hoax, and they're dying. And then Goya Beans, you have a voice, and you're Hispanic, and you're not standing up for the migrant workers and the children that are dying. And these people over here don't have diapers. They're not, you know, they don't have diapers. They don't have proper adequate care to be able to wash themselves and take showers and baths. The women didn't even have adequate sanitary napkins. All this other stuff is going on. And you want to come up because you want your product sold. You want to come up and you want to talk about some Goya beans. We ain't talking about Goya beans today. We're trying to keep people alive. What are you talking about? All right, man, you might want to weigh in. Let me get off this soapbox. Sis, you got me riled up. I'm telling you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Well, we're coming at the top of the hour. We've been on here. I can't believe this has been so awesome to be on here for 2 hours with so many enlightened people, Success Nation and Transformation Geek, and of course Milton. I just am grateful. I want to take a little opportunity like the African Tigress does, and I want you to just give your final thoughts and wrap up. So Transformation Geek, if you could just give us your final thoughts that you would share with any parent who is thinking about sending their children to school. Well, tell me what your final thoughts are on this issue.
My final thoughts are to follow your intuition. Don't be that blind parents with blind trust. Remember, your children see you as the God in their life. They don't know God. The God they know is you. You have to be making a decision that will affect their life and the course of their future. With this new directive, there is a 50% chance that they will be carriers. There is a 50% chance they will be infected. Either way, you lose, because they'll come home and give it to you, and then your children will be orphans, or the children will get it and give it to other people. There is no winning in this situation. I really understand that parents are tired. They want to get back to their jobs, but trust me, your child, when they're older, will not remember that you sent them to an elite boarding school or whatever. They will remember the time that you spent with them. Let's invest this time and get to know our children. I'm speaking from my own experience as a mother of learning to play with my child and just be present. So I really encourage everyone to just find that inner strength within yourself to do what is right. Hold on to your children. Don't send them out for low-key, high-key population control. Be smart. Get the science. Keep them at home a little longer. Even if everybody rushes back to school, give yourself 3-4 months and see what's happening, and then make your decision. And that is all I have to say. Thank you.
Now, are you guys planning to go back to the continent, or are you guys here for the long term?
Oh, well, for me, I have kind of tried to talk with my ancestors about that, because I really, really wondered about my journey here. I really asked questions, and they were like, for the meantime, they want me to be here. That can change tomorrow, but that's what they want. That's what my ancestors are saying. Because I paid for, I gave my uncle money, buy me land, please. Just build one 4-corner structure. Bring my son. His dad can stay here. My husband is Mexican. You're wondering, he's Hispanic. I'll just take my son, and we'll figure it out later. But my ancestors were like, relax. There's something. I think there's something else. So for the meantime, I'm here. But if that changes, if I go to bed or I'm meditating or whatever, and they say, okay, it's time to go, I'll pick my bag and I'll run. That can change any minute.
Take me with you.
But that's why I said follow your intuition, because we are all on different journeys, we're all on different paths. There's a reason there's a high influx of Nigerians and Africans in this time that we are in. Mm-hmm. I believe that we are here to be supportive. Like, honestly, if I tell you how grateful and proud I am of African Americans, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. Oh. When I see the level of activism it takes for you to just, oh my God, I am so proud of every single member of the African American community. You guys are warriors. I'm so proud of you. This is not easy.
No, this is not for the faint. This is not for the weak.
This is not for the weak of heart.
No.
Some of us Africans came here, we did not expect it. Some of us fell into depression, mental illness. We were not expecting this. We were in so much shock. I met one of my former co-workers. I think, there's kind of a misconception that we look down on them. No, we are not. Because when we were in Nigeria, they told us you guys were living like Dr. Huxtable. That's what they told us. You guys were living well. We didn't even know there's something called projects. We didn't know there was something called social security. What do you call that thing when like a mom with the children or something like that?
Tea or food stamps or something.
We have no idea.
Yeah.
We came here. We are like, where are all the dads? They're in jail for what? How does it make sense that you can go into big lots and buy a automatic rifle? You can go to jail for having a piece of leaf in your pocket called marijuana.
Wow.
What kind of logic is this? What kind of logic is this? You can go to jail for a piece of leaf, marijuana, but you can walk around with an armed rifle ready to aim it and shoot people. I mean, you could be walking with it, no one will say anything to you. When you finally target and kill people, they'll say, okay, you have committed a crime. But when you have that drug in your pocket, you have, I mean, if you hand it to someone, then you've committed a crime, but it's in your pocket. Okay? There's no evidence that this person has used, and all these herbs are all medicinal. I've been researching herbs, and a lot of the pharmaceuticals that we are taking now as pills, all were their chemical compounds extracted from herbs. Foxglove is probably a flower you see hanging. There's a foxglove digitalis. That is they extract the digitalis compound from that flower and use it to make a cardiac medicine. 80, if not 100% of all the drugs on the market, the pharmaceuticals, are all herbs. How can you go to jail for marijuana?
Wow.
Even this heroin, this poppy, we give it to the patients. We give them cocaine. We put it in their eye. Pilocarpine. These are all herb extracts. How are we sending people to jail for herbs? But you can walk around with a rifle.
Makes no sense.
I keep telling people, I don't know what hell you guys are praying you don't want to go to. What other hell is this? Which hell are you afraid of going to that can be worse than this? You'll be in your house and there's a violent crime next door. That's hell.
Right.
That's hell. You are constantly in a mode of having to guard your mind 24/7. Any slip up and you slip right into depression. Slip right into psychosis. I'm so proud of African Americans. Like it's amazing. The level of activism here. African Americans are an example to the world of what it means to keep going in the face of opposition.
Yep.
There is no other people in the world that are active like African Americans. And I'm just using that word. We are all the same, but I want the distinction and the honor to go to who honor is due. You guys are just warriors. You're amazing, honestly. Because their plan here was to just create this hierarchy in which certain people could only get to a certain level. Which is why they attack you. You have a nice car. How did you get it? Because in their matrix, you were not supposed to have it.
Not supposed to have.
How did you buy this? I'm a registered nurse. I've had people ask me, how did I buy my house? My reply, with money. How did you buy a house? With money. Is there any other way they're buying house in America? I mean, but the underlying reason for that question is you are not supposed to supersede me. Mm-hmm. You are not supposed to be better than me. Mm-hmm. That's what they are saying, but they're not saying the whole thing. How did you buy a house? With money. How did you buy a car? With money. Mm-hmm. I am so proud of you. I'm just going to let you guys go. I have to study. No. I just want you to know that you are not in this alone. I totally respect, admire, and just applaud the bravery of this entire community. This is not easy. With Nigerians, we are very loud and outspoken, but at the end of the day, we can run. We can go to Nigeria. Yeah. You know, it takes a lot of bravery for you to uproot yourself from America. Because America is all you know. Mm-hmm. You have to go to Africa, learn a new language, learn a new system. It's hard. It's hard. It takes a lot of bravery. A lot of bravery. It is the future. That's what you decide. Just go for it. Mind you, I came to America too. I think I came the least prepared. So now when I speak to people in Nigeria, I tell them what they should have, how they should be prepared, because I'm like, they are forerunner. I was the least prepared because I thought I was going to come here and be like a Huxtable, like in different worlds. I was going to do well. No. Blood and sweat and tears. Yeah. Blood, sweat, and tears. But you know what? It's what gives us the ability. Our creativity is unbounded because we have had to do without for a long time. Mm-hmm. That's why they are always looking at us. What are they creating? What are they doing? What are they doing? What are they doing? Because they know we are cooking up something. They know. To get the things they say we can't have. We create R&B. Okay, you can have it. We created rock. After okay, you have it. Rap music, they're there now. Tomorrow we will create something else. It is our nature. We are creative beings. It's what we do. What we do is create. I'm so proud of this younger generation. Anyway, you see them online. Hello, guys, I'm selling my lipstick. Hello, guys, I'm selling lip gloss. I'm like, yes, that's what you should do. Start a business. If you choose to get an education, you want to go in there and study something of your interest, not because you have to go and serve in a job. I say this carefully because I understand not everyone has the strength for business. But when you go in there and see what you are dealing with, I think you will develop the strength for business. Even if you didn't have it before. So once again, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. You are blessed. Continue your strength. Let us continue to go with the guidance of our ancestors. Continue for our intuition, day-to-day guidance. I believe this is the time. This is the time to really dig deep and speak to your ancestors and follow your intuition. May we always be at the right place at the right time with the right people. Yeah. I'll say good night. Thank you.
Good night. Thank you. So blessed to have. Look, y'all go check out Transformation Geek and her channel. We are just so blessed to have been. We're honored to have been blessed by her and her depth and her love for Africa and people here in the U.S. And, you know, I'm telling you that we are grateful to hear that because sometimes we need that encouragement. There have been so many lies told about African Americans, and people didn't know exactly what we have gone through until they came here. And people have said things, oh, we weren't warriors, we just took whatever our ancestors took whatever the slave master did. Honey, we fought. Honey, we fought and we protested and we fought. And look, we are warriors. And so I'm so glad and I honor you. I'm just grateful to you for every word that you spoke and for the ancestors sending you to the stream and to just bless us and enlighten us. I feel like you just have just poured so much. Whoop, my spirit is just warm. Well, Milton, we're going to let you have last words as well. Share with us your final thoughts on this subject and share with us your wisdom. We've been blessed. Look, woohoo! I am so grateful that my AKA Milton, AKA Faye, has been with me today. This is one of the things he wanted to do and to share and to give people this opportunity to speak and to share their voice. We have a group on Facebook, in case you didn't know, it's called Your Voice, Your World. So please join the Facebook group and come over and share with us because we talk about these issues all of the time. My husband, I'm so grateful to you and I love you so much. Share your final thoughts and speak to people.
Yeah, to end this up, first let me begin by thanking Synolve, it's getting late, Synolve for doing this. Like she said, please go over to the Facebook group, Your Voice, Your World, and join the group, and maybe you can choose the next topic for the live. Let's do that. You may find something that's been shared that's very interesting and that just touches you in a way where you want to discuss it a little bit further. So join the group and see what we're talking about and the many voices in there. And maybe there's something in there that will pique your interest and you say, hey, look, let's do a live on it because it's something I want to share and I think everybody needs to hear. And also, I want to thank all of the people that were here tonight who spoke out and shared their viewpoints and opinions. The young lady who just finished, I applaud her 100%. I agree with you 100%. And at the end of the day, if we recap what we talked about tonight, and the question was basically, do we need to send our kids back to school? And I think the consensus was right now, no, because the government has not prepared them to go back into the schoolhouse. Nothing has been done to prevent the spread of COVID in a way where we can feel safe sending them back to school. We researched the numbers and we see that the numbers are continuing to grow. The White House is not doing anything to work towards finding a cure or finding ways to help people through this pandemic. So the best answer for parents and families, in our opinion, is to do what's best for you and your family. Protect your kids and your families at all costs. It's not about money. It's about saving lives and doing what's best for people in their homes. So take what you've heard tonight, share it with your friends, and like the lady just said, and we've talked about all night, we're all in this together. We're African descent. We're African people. We're proud people. We're strong people. We're mighty people. We're warriors. We know how to get through things, and we need to unite and come together to ensure the safety and security of our people. And that's sharing, loving, and taking care of one another. Share what you know with somebody else to help them. If you know something, don't be too proud to share it with somebody else. Help them pull themselves up, and then they'll share that with somebody else. But again, as we feel, it's not time to send kids back to school until something else is done to ensure their safety. Because like the lady said, and Synolve said, one nurse at a school of 200 kids, what is that? What can one nurse do for 200 kids if 5 of them get sick? I mean, you've caused a pandemic within the school. So it's not worth sending them back to school right now because it's just unsafe. So that's my final thought. I hope, again, that everybody has gained something from this. I hope you can take something and share it with somebody else. And like Synolve said, please go by and join the Facebook group, Your Voice, Your World. Share your voice, share your concerns, share your thoughts. It's open to anything, and everybody will chime in and say something. And like I said again, there may be a topic that piques your interest that you want to see us go live on. Be sure to share that. So that's my final thought. And thank you all again for coming and joining with us tonight.
Thank you so much, Milton. I'm just typing this in the chat. Your Voice, Your World on Facebook. It's a group on Facebook, so be sure to go over and join. I want to thank Milton so much for joining us today. He's just been an inspiration. Thank you so much to Success Nation. And Success Nation, look, I want to go to Liberia. I'm researching Liberia. I love Senegal. I love Nigeria. I love Ghana. I love the Gambia. I love all 54 countries in Africa. So, all of Burkina Faso. I just think, look, all of them. I really do. I've been researching, and I'm just excited. The ancestors have not completely released us. So when Transformation Geek was saying that, I truly understood, because I felt that in my spirit. I'm not quite released yet. But I believe that time is coming so that we can prepare a place for our children and grandchildren and for our family to be on the continent of Africa and to thrive. Thank you so much also to Transformation Geek. You've been just awesome. We just appreciate you and your words and your thoughtfulness and all that you have shared with us. And thank you in the comments, everyone who has commented tonight, and all of the viewers that have stuck with us. We've been on here 2 hours, almost 2.5 hours, guys. The conversation, the time has gone by so quickly because you guys have shared so much and have brought so much to the conversation, from the guests to the speakers to the comments to Milton, and I am so grateful. I love you guys so much. Thank you. We have Synolve, as you know. If you watch the video, there are a couple of videos to catch up on. I have made a playlist on Africa. Go catch that up, because I am changing my format. I've also did a reaction video to the African superstar. Go and check that video out. Go check those videos out, because I am changing this platform. I have been doing thrifting and shopping and just all the American dream stuff. And so God, the spirit, the ancestors, the universe woke me up and is pushing me in a new direction to talk about things that are important to the continent of Africa, important to the African diaspora, things that are important to you. And so I'm changing. I'm moving by spirit, and I'm changing what I am doing, and I am allowing an opportunity for my voice, but not only my voice, but for your voice to be heard. So please, thank you so much. Please join me on this journey, and thank you so much for being here with us tonight. Be sure to follow me and Milton on Facebook. You can look up Milton Craft on Facebook. You can look up Synolve on Facebook and join, like our page. You can also find us on Instagram. We are on Twitter as well. And you can also support us, support this channel on Patreon. Join us on Patreon. You can support Synolve on Patreon. You can also send a gift on PayPal, just as small as $5. You can support on Patreon. You can support for as low as $1, and that just helps us to keep and continue doing what we do and to get this message out. Well, I'm not sending my kids back to school. I'm suggesting that my children, even like I said, they are in college. I am suggesting to them that they continue to do online studies, and it is what it is. Everyone is going to have to make that decision for yourself and for your family and your children. But I hope you decide to put yourself, your family, but mainly on this discussion, I hope you decide to put your children first. That is what we need to do in this season, is to put our children, our babies first, and to make the decisions that we need to make that will protect them and make sure that they have a long life on this earth, and that they have the opportunity to live and to grow, and they can become president, and they can become anything that they desire to be. But if they are taken out by COVID, which I really think is part of this plan, in this pandemic, by sending these babies to school, if you send them to school and they're taken out by this COVID, then we have a whole generation that is wiped out, who will not be able to live the dream that our ancestors dreamed, which is that we would be free. Remember, you're the ancestors' dream. And every generation, that these babies mean so much to the ancestors. So listen to them speak. And the ancestors are saying prophetically through spirit to keep our babies safe. I love you so much. I love you so much. And I send blessings to you and your family, and know how much I love you and how much I am grateful for you. I want to see you guys in the next video, so stay tuned for that. We're going to bring more of these Your Voice, Your World with Milton and myself. And so stay tuned for that. And until the next time when we meet again, you guys stay safe and you be blessed. I love you so much, and you are amazing. You're beautiful. You know why? Because you are. See you in the next broadcast. Bye-bye, guys. I love you. Until then, stay safe.